Yeah. And obviously Chris Watts claims that he's found religion while in custody, and I guess it says, obviously, was somewhat religious beforehand, but he looks back now, and at least through the book, that he makes it sound as if he's had all these signs, and these were signs from God, and why he shouldn't be going to see Nicole and things of that nature. And there's a quote out there that says, the converts are the most devout. And it seems like, has he kind of converted, so to speak? I mean, he's all in.
Yeah. I mean, you would be able to speak into that more than me. I'm sure you've seen a lot of jailhouse religion. And so how much of it is from being incarcerated and turning to God, and how much, if he was to get out today, would he still be religious? Would he still have God in his life? I don't know. I can't judge that, but, in speculating, I think maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, the jails and prisons, the jails, I would say, because that's before they get sentenced, is probably one of the most holiest places on earth, because everybody finds religion there. The question is do they keep on it?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying one way, if it makes you a better person, whatever religion you do, then
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And if yoga makes you a better person, then just do it. So whatever makes you a better person.
Right.
And so the
Right.
question's always, okay, when you're not in custody and you have nothing to do all day, are you going to be able to continue to do it? To, I guess, demonstrate the discipline, so to speak.
Right.
He mentions in the book, and I think it's a little bit different from his FBI interview when they came to see him, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, but he'd been planning this for a while. At least, I mean, almost immediately after meeting Nicole Kessinger, he starts getting this crazy notion that I got to kill everybody. Did he expand upon that further?
Yeah, this started he did. I mean, he said that, the thoughts were in his mind for 3 or 4 weeks about killing. First, Shanann was his original thoughts, was to kill her. And then as, the time went on, then to kill the girls also to free himself, I guess, and start over. And how he thought he could do that and start over and live a life. I just, outside of prison, I just don't understand that. But he had been planning this for a little while. And I think his plan that morning, and this is my opinion, so this is not in the book, but I think his plan was foiled, what he had originally planned, because when the girls woke up after he had tried to kill them, and he said that they woke up, I think it threw him into a real tailspin. He became very upset and very angry that they got back up. He decided last minute to, I think, to take them out to the oil batteries. And I think when he grabbed the gas can, it was to burn the bodies. It wasn't necessarily, he was not going to kill himself. He did not have intentions ever of killing himself. But I think he was going to burn the bodies, which I think Sandy Ruzek had that feeling. I think if you want to talk about somebody maybe that more has God in their life, that she got the feeling that he was going to burn his family up. And and then he makes a comment, well, there was too many people that lived around that area that could be hurt by a big fire at the oil batteries. Mm-hmm. It just didn't make sense to me. But
yeah, because we've been out to the oil batteries, and they're kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. You got to work pretty hard to get out there. So yeah, that doesn't really make sense. And there's obviously you've listened to his interviews when the police went up and talked to him. Some of what he told you is different. Did you call him out on that and say, why is this different from what you told Colorado Bureau Investigation and FBI?
I did, and he told me that's because they surprised him and showed up that day at the prison and questioned him, and then told him that his answers and that that interview would go no further than just with them, and then it ended up, all over. But he said he was upset that they surprised him, and he didn't feel like he owed him anything because he had been sentenced to life and he was in prison. The case was over, and he didn't. And he told me actually the first letter that he wrote me back was that he took the opportunity to clear Shanann's name when they came out to see him, and that he did feel really bad that he had gotten that idea from the FBI to blame Shanann, and so he took that opportunity to clear her name.
Yeah, and that was so obvious.
But that was the reason why things were different.
That was so obvious in his interview tape that, he wasn't even thinking about that, and and that goes back to, I could do a whole hours on the Reed interrogation technique, and just to get him to admit a little bit, and then he kind of jumped on it and played on it, and thinking it was going to somehow help him, when in fact, it didn't. Did he ever talk to you as to why he never got an attorney, just kept his mouth shut? I mean, for a guy that he says now claims that he's a genius, man, he's dumb.
Yes, and did some very dumb things, especially after the murders. But he was relying on his parents where the attorney was concerned, and his dad told him that night at the precinct, I guess, where they were at, there he was being questioned. Oh, we're going to find a really good lawyer for you, son, he says, and we're going to, but he ended up with a public defender, which he liked them. He said they were good to him. They treated him well. And I guess that's all he needed, is just for someone to treat him well. I don't know. As far as I know, it was never discussed.
Yeah. I was just, curious why he never, did that. And obviously he got an attorney. It was already, too late. And I'm not trying to say he could have got away with it, but I'm saying is that, most people, and this happens a lot of time to people that are charged, is they just think they're smarter than everybody else in the room. I mean, did he think he was going to get away with it? I mean, you saw that interview the first day. Oh, I don't know what happened to her. And the videos in the house where he's just kind of acting nonchalant. And, the police knew from the beginning he was the prime suspect.
Yeah, he was cocky that morning, I thought, and just almost like a smile on his face as he talked about it, like he thought he could get away with it. And then he told me, well, as the days went by, had he not been kind of, I don't want to say forced, because I don't believe he was forced, but forced according to either the death penalty or life in prison, he was going to confess anyway, he said, had they not done that to him. I don't know whether I believe that or not. I think if he thought he could have gotten away with it, he would have.
Well, that was it. I mean, he had already confessed to the murder of his wife, and the best he could have got, and for the sake of argument, that you could have beat the charges as it relates to his children, he still confessed to killing Shanann to the police.
Right.
and at the most you get is a second-degree assault or heat of passion or something along those lines. So, just from the criminal defense perspective, you're just sitting there, you're just like scratching your head, and the family didn't have any money to retain private counsel, and they went with the public defender, but it didn't matter at that point because he'd already confessed. He never
confessed, yeah.
Never, bothered to